Israeli forces move into Gaza, but it doesn't appear to be the onslaught they have warned of.
The Israelis have taken the more patient approach.
Tonight, we piece together their strategy and ask what's happening to the people in Gaza.
The bakeries are out of bread. Clean water has run out.
Let's start with the Israeli advance. Here's Thomas Dagler to break down what they've done so far.
Pushing into Gaza with tanks and heavy machinery, apparently holding territory. These are the few glimpses of what Israel calls an expanded ground operation and come from Israel's military itself. Officials have revealed little about their strategy, but since Israeli troops moved into Gaza, video released provides hints about the raids so far. The water in the distance suggests at least some Israeli forces are operating near the Mediterranean Sea in northern Gaza, with an unknown number of soldiers advancing on foot.
They're now in. I think they're going to stay in. I think that each piece of terrain that they secure, they're going to make sure that Hamas can no longer use it to their advantage.
All of it foreshadowed by seemingly endless airstrikes that pummeled Gaza and its people, turning buildings into rubble that's bound to become the site of fierce fighting. Israeli forces have hinted more urban targets will be taken out, and they blame their enemy.
Hamas puts your life in danger by placing weapons and forces within civilians' area in Gaza, including schools, mosques, and hospitals.
The IDF says it has started destroying that massive tunnel network, part of what it considers Hamas's terrorist infrastructure, like these supposed facilities under a hospital. On Sunday, the Israeli military said in 24 hours it had struck more than 450 militant targets, including what it describes as Hamas command centers, observation posts, and anti-tank missile launching positions.
The Israelis have taken the more patient approach. I think some of that's from external pressure. Some of that is for attempts to find out where the hostages are. And some of that is for the Israelis to gain intelligence.
Since Hamas's carnage 3 weeks ago, Israel has warned of a ground invasion, though this does not appear to be the full extent of it yet.
There's going to have to come that point to where they have close quarters combat, man on man in the streets, and that's going to be the worst time of it all.
Again late Sunday, explosions and flares lit up Gaza's night sky. Whatever comes next could be even more brutal. Thomas Dagler, CBC News, Toronto.
As Israeli troops advance into Gaza, many Palestinians are caught in the middle, including Asia Mathkour, a Gaza resident and Canadian citizen trapped in the enclave. She has been sending her family voice messages, updating them on the deteriorating situation. Here's Asia's latest message.
We are now taking shelter to the to a part of the house where it's not near any windows and not near the side where they are targeting a house near us. Just one house, 2 houses apart from us. They just told them to evacuate it. So now we are taking oh my God. Honestly, I don't know what's left. Like, what is the world waiting for? What are Canadians waiting for, to be honest? Are they waiting to hear about me? I'm dead with all my kids and my family, and we're just added to the numbers. Like, what's going on? People honestly need to start moving. Everything is so scary.
May Latif is Asia's sister-in-law and has been in close contact with her throughout the ordeal. May, it's nighttime now in Gaza. You received that message this morning. Have you heard from Asia since?
Yeah, we heard from her. Everything is okay-ish. And, it was very scary in the morning when we received that message. She's been trying to document things that we can keep in case something happens to her. And that message is very raw because she sent it right after a neighbor had received a phone call telling her that her home was going to be bombed. And usually when one home is bombed, the whole street is, and they didn't have enough time to go anywhere. So, and nowhere to actually really go. So that's when we received that message. And approximately an hour and a half later, we were told that nothing panned out. And sort of how the situation's going, it's moment by moment.
I spoke with her 2 weeks ago. She was still in Gaza City at that point, moving from house to house even then. Now she's gone south to the Egyptian border, and the Israeli Defense Force says people will be safer if they're in the south of Gaza. Does she feel that she's any safer than she was in the north?
Unfortunately, that is not the case. There is bombing that continues in the south. It's less than in central city and north, but there's still bombing. There's also very little resources there. No hospitals really functioning, and the bakeries are out of bread. Water has, clean water has run out. They have some source of water, not clean, and they also have to pace it. They're eating canned foods, also having to pace their intake of canned foods. So the situation in the south is horrible, and every day, the messages that we get are messages of today might be the last day, please remember us. And then we tend to not ask much details. We just, answer back with a message of hope.
May, with all this despair, it's easy for people to be hopeless and numb, but you'd like to end this with a call to action. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I'd like to ask our government officials to demand a ceasefire. Canadians have always prided themselves on being a peaceful, democratic state. And I think it's the right time right now to show the world our values. Recently in the United Nations, they voted, 120 countries voted for a ceasefire, and Canada abstained from that. And so I just want to remind Canadians that our voices are powerful, and I want to continue to send this message that we all need to speak up for the people who can't speak for themselves, contact our local MPs, and keep doing whatever we can to help the people of Gaza and the people really who are struggling everywhere.
It's a difficult time, I know, May. Thank you very much for speaking with us. Coming up, Matthew Perry opens up about his highs and his lows.
I then knew that it wasn't my fault, that I wasn't weaker.
His advice for anyone dealing with addiction in his final interview with the CBC.
Look, for the first time in my life, I'm in a real relationship, okay? I'm not gonna screw that up by, telling the truth.
In his final CBC interview, Matthew Perry was brutally honest about addiction and going to rehab.
I kind of just imitated Michael Keaton the whole time. So I was like, what, do I have a problem with alcohol?
The Friends star told the host of Q, Tom Power, how he came to realize what's really important in life. Being famous wasn't it. As millions mourn his sudden death, we want to revisit that very raw interview. Here's some of the conversation.
It's lovely to have you. I've been looking forward to this. Congratulations on the book. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
How's the process been of just talking about it? How have you
It's
found
been, what it's all about is helping people. And I've heard already 5 stories of people that read the book and checked into treatment.
Well, I thought what we could do is kind of start from the beginning.
Have a drink? Should we just have a drink?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, good idea. The book is called Friends, and Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. And the big terrible thing is, of course, your struggles with addiction over the years that you talk about in this book. It's a dark book. It's a real book. It's a very funny book. But again, there's reality there and there's darkness there. And I want to start kind of where all that began, which is the first time you had a drink. You write about.
Yeah.
You were 14 in the backyard somewhere in Ontario, right?
Ottawa.
You were with a couple of buddies. What do you remember from that night?
Well, I mean, that was pretty heavy. I was with my best friends, the Murray brothers, and we decided, we didn't know what we were doing, and they got some beers, and I got a bottle of wine called Anwar's Baby Duck, is the name of it. And I drank the entire bottle and lay in the ground and looked at the skies and just felt better than I ever had in my entire life. And I thought to myself, this is probably what normal people feel like all the time. For so long, I didn't know what was going on. I do now. And that's why the best thing about me is I can help people if they ask me to. Yeah, I can. Wonderful things happen in my life. I'm incredibly grateful for all of them, but that's the ticket for me, is helping people on a large scale or helping, one guy and seeing the light turn on and him understanding what is happening. The other thing, man, is I didn't want this, and I didn't want to have this problem,
No.
And it's so cunning, baffling, and powerful, alcoholism and addiction. And, a lot of people say, because the reason this book has done so well and been taken into the hearts of so many people is because everybody's starting to know or have addiction in their life. People have a brother or a sister or a grandfather or a close friend who has addiction in their life, and they need to know from the addict's point of view, in this case me, how horrible it is and how they're not weak. We're not weak. I'm a pretty strong, resilient guy. But it has nothing to do with weakness. It's a disease that we have, and we don't know that we have it. And if somebody says, just stop, you want to punch them in the face because they don't know, Nancy Reagan had this slogan that said, just say no.
Just say no, yeah.
And you're like, well, idiot. If I could just say no, I wouldn't have to go to 9,000 AA meetings. I'd just be at home saying no all the time.
How did Chandler change as the person playing with him starts to struggle with addiction more and more during the...
He didn't change. What was changing was me. I had a rule that I would never drink or do drugs while working because I had too much respect for the 5 people that I was working with. So I was never wasted when I was working. Also, it would totally turn off the timing and it would just be awful. But I did work extremely hungover. And, at one point I was shaking so much that if I was going to go from the bookshelf to the table, I'd have to kind of quickly do it and put my hand on the table so I wouldn't shake. And, it got that bad. Years later, I was in a treatment center in a detox ward, and I was coming off of many, many, many drugs. And I picked up the Alcoholics Anonymous book for the first time in my life. And I read, drinkers think they're drinking to escape, but what they're really doing is trying to get over a disease they don't know they have. It's actually, they say, they're trying to get over a mental disorder they don't know they have. And I went, that's me. I can't believe it. This book was written in 1939, and it's about me. It's about the guy who drove to the liquor store at 1:45 so he could drink alone. It's about all these habits. It's about why my reaction was different than the Murrays when we drank that day when I was 14. We were all 14. It separated me from the normal man. So it was a great day on the one hand. But on the other hand, it meant one day at a time, I have to stop drinking forever. And I thought, well, this is the only way I've ever enjoyed anything in the 20th century. And I have to give it up or, it's going to kill me. So I gave it up for a long period of time. The secrets are what kill us. As soon as it was pulled out of me by somebody the first time I admitted it. But I was taking 55 Vicodin a day. I weighed 128 pounds. I was on Friends getting watched by 30 million people. And that's why I can't watch the show, because I was brutally thin. And being beaten down so badly by the disease. So I went to Hazelden. I went to my first rehab. I didn't really learn anything. I kind of just imitated Michael Keaton the whole time. So I was like, what, do I have a problem with alcohol? And I was placed in some kind of spiritual guy's office, and we talked a little bit. And as we were done talking, he turned around. He turned me around and said, "Just remember, it's not your fault." And I went, "What?" He said, "It's not your fault." And I went, "Say that again." "It's not your fault." And I said, "What do you mean it's not my fault? I'm the one who's doing it. What do you mean?" And he explained addiction and alcohol to me, and he saved my life. Because I then knew that it wasn't my fault, that I wasn't weaker. It wasn't my will that was screwed up. It was that I have this disease and I need to get help. And, you know, the thing that always makes me cry, and I hope I don't cry here, is that it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair.
It's not fair.
That I had to go through this disease while the other 5 didn't. They got everything that I got. But I had to fight this thing and still have to fight this thing. So just to end this on a good note, there are people that will help you and get their help. It doesn't go away. It never goes away. I love you too. I think it helps us not to know each other.
What are the dreams now?
The dreams now, the best thing about me, bar none, is if somebody comes up to me and says, "I can't stop drinking, can you help me?" I can say yes and follow up and do it. That's the best thing. And I've said this for a long time. When I die, I don't want friends to be the first thing that's mentioned. I want that to be the first thing that's mentioned. And I'm going to live the rest of my life proving that.
So poignant and part of a much longer conversation. You can see the nearly hour-long interview online by heading to cbcradio.ca. Coming up, when pumpkins become a problem.
They climbed onto the roof of my house. They climbed onto my shed. They climbed over the fence into the neighbor's yard.
The gardening accident turned Halloween high point in our moment. While timely, this collection of pumpkins wasn't planned for, and it's just a fraction of the overall harvest. Despite the surprise, Ontario resident Chris Paul Farias chose to nurture each and every sprout. The overflowing garden that followed is our moment.
How am I going to contain 300 pumpkins? Looking good. I noticed little plants popping up where I had not planted anything, and they turned out to be the pumpkin plants from the seeds that I had composted last year. This is the first pumpkin. My mind immediately went into how can I manage this? My pumpkins grew into the neighbor's tree. I found a TV antenna, one of those old metal TV antennas that came in 4 pieces of 10 foot tall each, and I put those around the yard so they could grow up. The pumpkins have reached the roof. And everyone's like, no, they'll ruin your house. Wow, this is gonna be a great story. Let's do it. Pumpkins, pumpkins, pumpkins. Overall, I had, I think, almost 300 pumpkins growing in my tiny little backyard. Oh, geez, Louise. So what we decided to do was set up this display at a childcare facility, and we read The Great Pumpkin, and they were so excited, and they all took a pumpkin home. I just compost them and have the same problem next year.
I was thinking, what a great storyteller, what great video, but did you see the super? They are a content creator, so that is fantastic Halloween-themed content. Thank you for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app and subscribe to the National's YouTube channel. I'm Hanomansing in Vancouver. See you Friday.